Yes. Welcome back to another episode of Go Long Live. I am your host, Barry Long II, not the first, not the third. I am the second. We are live on CoachellaValley.com, live on today's California.com. We are live on today's Canada.com. We are all over the Twitterverse, all over the metaverse, all over the universe. I am bright as hell today. See, I got the Nickelodeon hoodie on. Tie-dye is really in right now, but yeah, with the Jazz hoodie on. As a matter of fact, I just saw Rudy, my co-host, pre-show, and he said, "Whoa, you're so bright today." So yeah, we are bright today. With that being said,
bright and shiny world.
This was like, I like to think, the golden ages of Nickelodeon. Like, I grew up on shows like What Would You Do, Crazy, Wild and Crazy Kids, Doug Funny, Rugrats, Ren and Stimpy, stuff like that. So I like to think, myself as a kid at heart. But yeah, man. So how you doing today, Rudy?
I'm doing good, man. Dude, a little foggy, so thick I can put a knife through it. That's how thick it is here in the Central Valley right about now.
Really? It's foggy out there?
Yeah, it is. Foggy. Visibility is probably about 300 feet.
It is nice and clear out here in the valley, out here in the desert. We want to send a real quick shout out to Craig Campbell. Thank you for the platform. We appreciate it. We also appreciate all you guys' love and support. Please continue to comment, like my man Akash Thakur. He says, "Hi, how you doing, sir?" We appreciate you for tuning in. Now, we got a lot of things that we want to talk about today. This is a sports show. We talk about the latest events and stories in sports. And we've got a new GM that's been hired for the New York Football Giants. We will talk about that here shortly. Joe Schoen. Also, we will talk about Derrick Henry and whether or not he will be able to go this Sunday, or this Saturday rather, against the Bengals. We will also break down the Bills-Chiefs game and the Bucks and Rams game. And we will also talk about something that is really popular right now around town here in Southern California. Everybody is talking about Russell Westbrook and whether or not he should be traded or not. But we do know that he was benched in Wednesday's loss to the Pacers, so we will talk about that as well. But right now, let's start off with some breaking news. Breaking news coming out of the New York Giants front office. They have hired a guy by the name of Joe Schoen, and he's going to be their general manager. Now, he is the replacement of Dave Gettleman, who we know retired, quote unquote retired. I like to say he refired because it was time for him to go. They were going to fire him anyway, so he retired before they could fire him. But they have hired Joe Schoen. Joe Schoen has been with the Buffalo Bills. He's the Buffalo Bills assistant general manager right now to Brandon Beane, which is a very good team right now. They picked up a lot of good talent in the draft and the free agency. He comes by way of Carolina Panthers. He started his career 17 years ago in the ticket department as a ticket department intern, and now he has worked his way up, worked in all different aspects of the front office. Now he's worked his way up to become the general manager of the New York Football Giants. And I really do like this move because I think that, not only do I love seeing stories of guys that have worked their entire careers off to get to where this point, and they've been working, they've been chipping away. I like seeing success stories like that. But what I also like about this move is who they are now thinking will be the head coaching candidates for the New York Football Giants. Obviously, they plucked this guy from the Buffalo Bills. They're seemingly ready to pluck Brian Daboll, who is the offensive coordinator from the Buffalo Bills. He is on the top of that candidate list, as well as the defensive coordinator, Leslie Frazier. Now, how do you feel about Joe Schoen? And it's pronounced Shane. It's spelled Schon. You would think it's Schoen, but it's Shane. How do you feel about him being tabbed as the general manager?
Well, you know what? I like this move. Probably one of the better moves that the New York Football Giants have done in recent memory. There's a lot of things to like about this move. When you start at the bottom of any given NFL organization, you certainly have the inner workings and inner knowledge of what it takes to be successful. When you start out selling something, you have to have thick skin to know what the word no means. Like, fortunately enough for him, the Giants decided to say yes to shine, because I think he's going to shine in this role, and he's going to show him what he has. You like that double Punday Friday there. But there are lots of great things to like about this move. I like the Daboll move. Again, solid coaching decisions and acquisitions, general manager acquisitions start with making the right decisions to put the right guys in the right positions to be successful. And when I say successful, doesn't necessarily mean that the Giants have been unsuccessful up to this point, but clearly we have seen the opposite. come through, come to fruition, where Carolina decides to get Ben McAdoo as their offensive coordinator, which is a complete dumpster fire. And I've never been a fan of the McAdoo hiring, never been a fan of McAdoo in general. And the fact
I call him Ben McAdoo.
Yeah, he is definitely doo-doo for this Carolina Panthers organization. And I can only imagine if Matt Rule was to be fired next year, not to suggest that he is, but if he does, McAdoo is expected to do something horrible to this organization, as his record would indicate that he continually does that. So I don't really like that move. And let's roll on with this, because this is a Fed Up Friday, and I'm fed up with NFL organizations acquiring guys like McAdoo to run any front office, to be any part of any NFL football team. And I'm fed up with this, the good old boy situation. And I am fed up today on Friday because I'm tired of it. And I'm tired of people driving on the road without a Bluetooth device. I mean, for crying out loud, cars have Bluetooth devices for a reason, not just to play your favorite MP3. This is for safety. So I'm fed up with that. So
all right. Cool. So this, thank you for bringing that up, Rudy, because this is Fed Up Friday, and we're going to start this off, with the show, and it's going to only continue to grow. But whatever you're fed up with on Fed Up Friday, please comment in the comment section right there. But I am also fed up. I'm fed up with people that buy sports cars and drive them slow. Like, come on, man. You got a Mustang, for crying out loud. Step on it. Don't be going 45 in the 55 miles per hour zone. I'm also fed up with the price of bacon, man. The price of food has gone up. It's gone through the roof. Jobs are down. Gas prices are up. I'm fed up with gas prices. Yes, but I am fed up with the price of bacon. I am a pork lover. And I mean, turkey hasn't gone up. Nobody wants to eat turkey bacon. Nobody. Turkey bacon is like eating it's like a leather belt with salt. But I am fed up with the price of bacon.
Look, you feel a little salty there, Barry?
Yeah, I am, man.
A little salty today. I can imagine a little gif where the guy's just like sprinkling the dust, of salt.
I am. But one last point that I wanted to point out about the hire of Joe Shine as the general manager for the New York Giants is that he was a part of that group that evaluated Josh Allen, and they took a risk on Josh Allen because he wasn't supposed to go as high in the draft as he did, and they took a risk on Devin Singletary out of Florida Atlantic. He was not considered one of the top picks for running back that year, and of course they were able to lure certain free agents over, like Micah Hyde, for instance. So I think that this is going to be a good hire for them. Now let's talk about Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry has been announced today that he will start tomorrow against the Bengals. And we know Derrick Henry has been out for a while with that injury, but we know that he is back and supposedly he is healthy. And he is supposed to be, carrying the bulk of the load tomorrow. Now, I'm excited to see him. I know he's one of the toughest guys in football to tackle. He's his one-man wrecking crew. He's like a bowling ball with razor blades trying to tackle that guy. So I expect him to come out and beat Derrick Henry. And what do you think about Derrick Henry starting tomorrow, Rudy Reyes?
I'll be honest with you. I like the move. If he's healthy, he's ready to go. Like I said yesterday, if you give him the ball, allow him to get a feel for what that contact's going to be when you have a linebacker coming at you who's a 300-pounder at 65 miles an hour. If King Henry can hold on to the rock and bust through that wall, then he has every opportunity to even become that much better. Because again, it's all about contact after the hit. And if he can maintain possession of the ball, run down the field, continually find and open gaps and drag guys along with him, as we've seen in the antiperspirant commercial, he's going to have a very, very, very good day. And
I love that commercial, by the way.
I do too. It's fantastic. He's running along, talking to the guys on a treadmill, talking to the guys that are still holding on to him for dear life. I don't think it's going to be a case.
And that's how it is in the real life. That's how it is.
Yep, exactly. You're running, run in.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
It's just absolutely horrible right now. I think Derrick Henry's going to really tear things up, and he's going to have every given opportunity to do just that. I really
absolutely will. And I think this is going to be a difference maker for the Tennessee Titans. We'll see how that game turns out. But right now, let's talk about some other games. We've got a great game between the Bills and the Chiefs. The Bills and the Chiefs play tomorrow. They have played already this season earlier on in October. The Bills won 38-20, but in this game tomorrow, we're going to see a little bit of a difference of styles that we didn't see the first game. Of course, they did not have the Bills did not have. The Chiefs did not have Melvin Ingram in that game, and ever since they've acquired Melvin Ingram, they've been able to switch Chris Jones over to his natural position, and which is the DE. And the defense has flourished ever since they've acquired Melvin Ingram. And guys are flying all over the ball. So I think that this defense is going to be a little bit different than what we saw last time. They're not going to give up 38 points to the Bills, but I do expect the Bills to come out strong in that game. I like what they were able to do as far as disguising coverages for Patrick Mahomes. He made some bonehead plays. This is back in October when Patrick Mahomes was forcing the ball in there, when he wasn't looking like the Patrick Mahomes that's been looking like the last few seasons and the last few weeks. He took him a while to start getting his groove back, and he seems to have found his groove. But I still think that Leslie Frazier and Sean McDermott do a wonderful job of disguising coverages, dropping guys back when you wouldn't expect them to, cutting off certain aspects of the field. And I like what they are going to be able to do tomorrow. And I think that the Chiefs their only chance to win this game is if they run the ball effectively, and they are going to have their running backs. They're going to have to run the ball effectively, and they're going to have to dink and dunk. They're not going to have to be trying to force the big play down the field to Tyreek Hill. They're going to have to take that where they can get it. Patrick Mahomes is going to have to take what the defense gives them, and I think that that's their only chance to win. But I do like the Bills in a tough, tight game. I like them 31-28.
There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that I really like about this particular matchup. You're going to have a very underrated defense that has only gotten better. And you had mentioned Melvin Ingram, who came over from the Steelers. Steelers have given up, I think it was a 6th-round pick for the Chiefs to acquire him. I think that was a very solid move defensively. But of course, nobody wants to talk about the Willie Gay incident where he was arrested. Him and his mom, Willie Gay, and actually his son got an argument with his mother, and there was an argument that ensued. And unfortunately, there was a broken appliance a part of the process. So Willie Gay obviously arrested. He was released. Andy Reid had went on the record stating that Willie Gay will be starting in the secondary for the Chiefs. He's played, I think, 12 games for them so far, and has been absolutely stellar in the secondary. So I really foresee that Willie Gay will have his opportunity, will have a chance to be that shutdown corner that he's been basically showing all season long. There's still some outstanding legal matters, but a lot of damage was at like $1,000. So for him, it was lint in his pocket, essentially let out a very minor bail, a bond, So yeah, I think the Chiefs are going to have a really good time defensively trying to stop the up front, not only being able to load guys in the box, but doing it effectively and often enough, and be creative in loading the box and backing off, or maybe a full out, blitz package involved in trying to get to Josh Allen. But he's had some of the best blocking this season alone. So when Josh Allen has a clean pocket, he's able to get it to receivers about 72 to 80% of the time, and one of the faster throw rates. But be careful on the run, because he has wheels and he's been deadly outside the pocket. So I really think that the Bills and the Chiefs, this is probably a match we weren't really thinking of early on in the season, but this is a chance for someone to get revenge.
This is an opportunity for them to get revenge, especially for that AFC Championship last year that we saw. If you remember, at the end of that game, you had Stephon Diggs who walked out onto the field and watched the celebration. And we see that happen, from time to time in different sports. We see guys that lose in a championship game. They go out and they want to understand the feeling that, that moment can only give you. And Stephon Diggs was out there, and he is definitely in his mind that he wants to get some revenge against the Chiefs. I feel like they're just going to be amped up. And earlier this week, I was thinking, man, maybe they put too much out last week. Maybe they were just, exploding on offensively, and they're probably going to be, primed for a letdown. But after this week of just watching, certain different, shows and stuff, I'm thinking that seeing the interview with Pat McAfee and Josh Allen, I'm thinking that this team knows exactly where they are and where they want to be. So I like the Bills in this game. I really do. So we'll see. We'll see. They are playing this Sunday at 3:30 on CBS. Sure, Tony Romo will be on the call. I can't wait to hear that. We are Go Long Live. I am Barry on the second, not the first, not the third. He is Rudy Ramon Reyes. And we are here every single Monday through Friday on Today's California, CoachellaValley.com, and Today's Canada right here at noon, from noon to noon 30. We got some exciting things to announce as well coming up in February. New name, new logo, lots of stuff. Rudy's going to be out at the Super Bowl all week long, be up in the booth during the game. I will be out there for a day or two. We will rub some elbows, go to some parties, go to some do some networking. It should be exciting. Should have some fun interviews from that week as well. Now,
can't wait for that. That's going to be fun.
Can't wait, man. Can't wait. So glad to be able to be a part of that. Now, let's talk about this Rams and Buccaneers game. This is going to be an exciting game, I believe. We've got a rematch of a game that they played this year and a rematch of a game that they played last year. The last time, 2 times that these teams have faced, one with Jared Goff, one with Matt Stafford. The Rams got the better of the Bucs, and this is the team that we've seen. Every time the Buccaneers play against the Rams, the last 2 times, Tom Brady has thrown the ball way too many times, in my opinion. He threw the ball 48 times in one game, 50 plus times in another game. So I feel like that is not the recipe for success against the Rams. If we've known that the Rams, when we've seen them get manhandled this season, we've seen them get manhandled on the front line, and teams have been able to run the ball effectively against the Rams. We've seen it time and time again. That's really the only way that you're going to beat the Rams, is if you can run the ball effectively. And I think that having Leonard Fournette back this week is going to be huge for Tom Brady, not only in his help of blocking and picking up blitzes, but also for his help out of the backfield catching the ball. So I think that that's going to be a really big help for them, as well as Ronald Jones II. He doesn't get a lot of shine as much as Fournette. But Ronald Jones II coming back too is going to be huge for them. But yeah, we're going to need to see that running game a lot more. They're going to need to depend on these running backs, not only to pick up blitzes, but also to run the ball. So I want to know who you like in this game first before I make my pick. But yeah, go ahead, Rudy.
I look at the Rams and I think to myself, this has got to be Matthew Stafford's number one priority to get that ball downfield, is to make sure he has a clean pocket, make sure that, the offensive line is doing a fantastic job. He will not have Whitworth, who will be out for this particular game. And I think he'll be needed so desperately to protect that left side of where Matthew Stafford's going to be under center all game long. As long as the Bucs defense does not show up and have zero blitz, as we've seen last week, they've been absolutely phenomenal with the zero blitz packages. And they just look like they were team possessed. They really, really were able to shut that down, especially on second and third downs where they knew they needed to get into the backfield. They did it early and often. When you look at that on the other side of the ball, when you look at the defense, again, Von Miller, Aaron Donald, these guys are going to have the most impact games, but they can't be the only guys as a part of that defensive line showing blitz, making sure there's no 5-yard bump and run. They gotta do man coverage, or maybe even a dime will help protect that soft middle of the field. Tom Brady can pick you apart at any given angle. He could probably do a blindfolded too while you're at it. But there's
on one leg,
on one leg with an eye patch. I mean, you may as well call him lucky. He's able to get the ball downfield.
But sure,
to
man.
be quite honest with you, Tampa Bay's opened up this game as a 3-point favorite. That could swing. It's a pendulum either way. I think this is going to be a close game. But you know what? Overall, I think the Rams outplay the Buccaneers by a touchdown minimal. And I say minimal because there's always that possible 2-point play with a safety on the other end, maybe a field goal here and there. But I think it's going to be at least 7 by the Rams. Of course, they're in hostile territory playing in Tampa Bay. I don't know how much of a home field advantage that is for Tampa Bay. Don't forget they hosted it last year in their home, which I think is an unfair advantage. There may be an advantage, may not be an advantage, but I think this year's going to prove to be a disadvantage. I think the Rams will end up taking it.
Yeah, I agree with you as far as the Rams pick. I think that the offensive line for the Buccaneers is going to be an issue because we know that they're not going to have Tristan Wirfs, and their right tackle. He's going to be out. So they're going to have to slide Alex Cappa over from the guard position to play that right tackle position. And then they're going to have Aaron Stinney is going to be playing guard in place of Alex Cappa. And Alex Cappa's fine. I mean, playing guard and tackle are two total different things. They're two total different animals. But Alex Cappa has played right tackle his 4 years in college. So he'll be just fine at that right tackle position. But when you're talking about, a guy who's playing replacement guard, that could be an issue. That could be an issue with helping running the ball or passing protection. So Tom Brady, we know, is going to be fine getting the ball out of his hands quick. I don't expect him to be sacked a ton, but I do expect, like you said, I do expect the Rams to be fierce, especially in that secondary. They're going to be flying around and they're going to be having a good time. And I do like the Rams in this game as well. I think that they're also going to be hurt by not having AB. That was a really good security blanket that stepped up in big times for Tom Brady, and he's not going to be there. So, it's going to be a long day. And whether or not, you said the home field advantage is there. I feel like certain teams have certain teams' numbers, and the Rams just know how to beat the Bucs. So, I like the Rams in this game, and I like them 34-28. There you go.
Look, there's a side note to all of this. Apparently, Antonio Brown was on Instagram about 3 hours ago, posting a video of him doing the crawl. So he was on his tippy toes. He was doing like tippy toeing. Well, if you need ankle surgery, and you're doing a meme on Instagram, I don't think those two work out. So what's up with that, AB?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, this guy's been weird. He's been weird ever since college. But
on day of birth, I don't know.
Yeah,
he's got some problems. He
I mean, it's a shame.
Anger management.
It's a shame that Antonio Brown is not on the NFL roster right now, and he can't get it together enough to finish his season. It is just a shame. I mean, we hope the best for his mental health. But we don't know if it's chronic traumatic encephalopathy or not. But we do know that there's some issues going on upstairs, and it is just a damn shame. We are Go Long Live. I am Barry Long II. He's Rudy Reyes. We are live on CoachellaValley.com, today's California.com, today's Canada.com. We are all over Twitterverse. And right now we are going to talk about Russell Westbrook. Now, Russell freaking Westbrook was supposed to be one of the top acquisitions of all time for the Lakers. According to a lot of people, it was exciting. It was an exciting time that, finally, they have a third star to pair with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. The team did not get any younger around them. They picked up, players that were on the backside of their career, much like Rajon Rondo, Dwight Howard, DeAndre Jordan. You name it, the list goes on and on. The Lakers that have the oldest roster in NBA history when you add up all the years of experience from the players involved. So this has been a rough season for the Lakers and for Frank Vogel. This is the worst record that they've had through this many games, through 40-plus games, 22-23. The AC currently in the West, only a half game above the Clippers, who are in the 9th seed. And it has just been rough for Russell Westbrook going down this entire season. He has not been the same Russell Westbrook that we've seen in previous years. He cannot. It seems like he cannot locate the basket whatsoever. It seems like his assists are down. Naturally, they're going to go down when you play with LeBron, but he just hasn't been the Russell Westbrook on the floor, even without LeBron on the floor, that we've seen in the past. He's not scoring at a high level, averaging career lows in a lot of his different numbers. So he has been benched. He was benched in the final minutes of the Lakers' 111-104 loss. Russell Westbrook, poor Russell, only had 14 points on 5 of 17 shooting, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. I mean, it is just terrible. And the Lakers begin a 10-game or a 6-game East Coast road trip starting tonight in Orlando. And we're going to see Russell Westbrook be benched again in the fourth quarter. And Frank Vogel has went to the front office and he's talked to the front office and asked them, hey, is it okay if I bench Russell Westbrook moving forward down the stretch? And Russell Westbrook is best for his ability to eat up minutes throughout the entire game. He's gonna be wild. He's gonna have a lot of turnovers. He's not gonna knock down jump shots. But what we do know is that when it comes down to the game, he's going to make the mistake that ends up losing the game, or the turnover that ends up losing the game. So Frank Vogel has gotten the okay from the front office to bench Russell Westbrook down the stretch, and he's also fighting for his career. He's fighting for his job right now. If they go 2-4 on this 60-game road trip, I expect Frank Vogel to be fired. And a lot of people in LA are tired of Frank Vogel. We want to see David Fizdale get a chance to go in there. What are your thoughts on the Lakers?
Well, I want to kind of do a little bit of reverse there. I'm not a fan of David Fizdale first and foremost because he fizzed out a long time ago. Okay, he hasn't really shown to me that he can win it. He just fizzed out. That's all there is to it. And Vogel, look, Vogel has the ability as a head coach to be the guy, the glue that keeps everybody together. Everybody working in symphony and harmony, right? Everybody hears about harmony, talks about harmony.
Oh, you got,
I could drop a lyric here and there.
You got pipes. You got pipes, man.
I'm just telling you. So I think the one who needs to get the pipe written at him is going to be Russell Westbrook sitting down if he's not playing well. As a head coach, you have the ultimate responsibility. You are designated to take any possible move you can to get these guys to play together. And if one guy is falling off the wagon, he's the one who needs to sit down and cool his wheels off. It's sad that we're in this situation. We're having this conversation about how the Lakers are so old on both sides of the ball. Yeah, Rajon Rondo's no longer there. They got rid of Alex Caruso, which I think was a very bad mistake. I know Caruso got better offers somewhere else, but I mean, he led this team to a championship. He has the fire, the spark. Now he's playing on a Bulls team that just seems to be trying to find their own identity, but he's been playing balls out. That's who Alex Caruso is.
He's a fan favorite too. He was a fan favorite.
He absolutely was a fan favorite. And he was my favorite, at least from an explosive standpoint. Look, when they say white men can't jump, he may not be able to jump, but he's got the energy.
Oh, he can bang on him too. Oh, he can bang on him too.
He can get there. He can get there. He can get inside. He can cut up the rim on either side of the glass. I mean, Alex Caruso was that guy. The problem is that Russell Westbrook and the age factor was involved, and when they created this roster, unfortunately, it hasn't really put any type of energy or fire back into these guys. Maybe they need to go look for their double ARP card because it's the only thing that's going to save them from this tumultuous season right now. That is putting them in the 8th position in the West, which is not good. And you're only one game, a half a game in front of the Clippers. The Clippers are much younger as well.
Yeah, basketball is not looking really good right now in LA. It's been really good the last few years with the Lakers and the Clippers having, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George on one side and AD and LeBron on the other side. But it has not been good basketball this year that we've seen from either side of the LA team. So, yeah, I agree with you, man. But I'm on the other side of that argument. I do like David Fizdale. I want to see what David Fizdale can do. I know that he didn't have a good tenure in New York. He was flat out terrible, but who has had a good tenure in New York? Besides Thibodeau, he's the only one that really, was able to go in there and win some games. I mean, it was a revolving door of head coaches: Jeff Hornacek, Mike D'Antoni, Mike Woodson. I mean, it was just ridiculous. So yeah, I want to see but I do like what Frank Vogel has been able to do defensively as a head coach, even back to his days in Indiana and now in LA. But it just seems like the wheels are falling off right now. And I'm not really sure if it's him that's lost the locker room, but I know that with this move of benching Russell Westbrook, you're going to have guys in the locker room that are raising their eyebrow. And they've been raising an eyebrow at Frank Vogel ever since day one. When he first came into this league, Frank Vogel was inconsistent with his rotations. They didn't know who was going to be starting. They didn't know who was going to be playing down the stretch. When you put LeBron and AD, AD didn't want to play the 5. He wanted AD to play the 5. It was just all over the place. And they were able to harness all that energy into a championship during the bubble, albeit it was in the bubble. A lot of people like to put an asterisk next to that championship, but no, they won a championship. Frank Vogel did win a championship, and I think that he deserves a chance to at least finish the season off. But if there is going to be a coaching change made, it needs to be David Fizdale, in my opinion.
Well, I don't know. It's not like head coaches, are right there in the low-hanging fruit mill. We've talked about this before. It takes a certain type of coach, a certain type of guy with that kind of mentality to get these guys to play as a unit. Being able to recognize that there are situations where sometimes you got to bench the stars. You have to. You cannot be afraid to approach any given NBA star, NFL star, or PGA group guys. You know what? You just need to sit it and quit it. Because right now it's not working for you. It's not working for you. It's not working for the fan base either in Los Angeles.
Let me
They're
ask
rooting
you
for the
this, Rudy.
Clippers instead of the Lakers
Let me ask you this: would you trade Russell Westbrook
in a heartbeat.
in a heartbeat?
In a heartbeat.
Really,
Him
really.
and you may as well just add a splash of AD right along with it.
You would trade AD as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Max contract has gone to his head.
Yeah, the max contract
Now,
has gone to
now
AD's head.
it's time to have a clearance or a fire sale. Get these guys out of there. Do something more. Get some younger guys in there. Get some youth, man. Somebody needs to pop open that geyser in the back that says, the fountain of youth, and unwrap it, use it, drink it, put in your water bottles. I mean, something's got to be done for this team to do something more than what it's been doing, which is creeping along. Then all of a sudden you want to talk about playoffs. Playoffs? You want to talk about playoffs? What's playoffs? I don't know nothing about no playoffs right now because they're not playing consistently enough on both sides of the court to actually win. And now, it's going to get worse.
Yeah, you're right. And let's not forget the last season when the Lakers got into the playoffs. Although they were a first-round exit to the Phoenix Suns, they were in the play-in tournament just to get into the playoffs. Things were bad. So we see this team consistently be the 8th seed, the 9th seed. We're not going to see LeBron James win another championship in Lakers yellow. So I agree that we need to get younger. I think Anthony Davis has been a problem, a health standpoint for a while, for a couple years now. It seems like he gets nicked here and there, and he is out for 4 to 6 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, 3 to 5 weeks. And it's like we can never get a healthy Anthony Davis on the court at the same time when LeBron James and Russell Westbrook are healthy and ready to go. And that is going to hurt them. Even if they do make the playoffs of the play-in tournament, that chemistry, that lack of chemistry and lack of experience of playing together is going to bite them in the rear end come playoff time. And, I do like Carmelo Anthony's resurgence as a role player in this league. But you're right, man. We've got to get younger where it counts. And this is going to be another rough season for Lakers fans, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, this is definitely going to be a tough one, and it's a bitter pill to swallow. I don't care if it's purple or it's yellow. It's going to be a very bitter pill to swallow, and they really better figure it out as far as the front office is concerned. Jeannie Buss is really going to have to be on the cusp of doing something greater before the trade deadline than doing nothing at all, because a lack of activity is inactivity. They can ill afford to do that and fall further behind in the Western Conference.
Yep. Yeah, you got that right. So it's time now for the meme of the day. The meme of the day is coming to you from a guy named Jordan Ariano. It says, once upon a time, the Washington football team were called the Redskins, and they had these 3 guys on their coaching staff. You got Matt LaFleur, Kyle Shanahan, and Sean McVay all on the same freaking coaching staff. All 3 of these guys, mind you, are right now currently still in the playoffs as head coaches. I mean, that is just incredible. They were all on the same time, the same year. I mean, just incredible that they went on to all have successful head coaching careers. And I just can't believe that the Washington football team allowed these guys out of the building. Like, what are you doing? What are we doing, Washington football team?
Well, they've been an absolute dumpster fire for many, many years. It's not as if 2013 is any pure revelation. They're just starting to unravel in 2013. Yeah. And you know what, to be honest with you, LaFleur, Shanahan, and McVay jumped on the good shit lollipop and decided to bail off while the getting was good, because had they stayed on any longer, it would have gotten even worse. So good for them, smart on them, and it's a good look for them, and they're all in the playoffs right about now. So that's actually a good problem to have if you're LaFleur, Shanahan, and McVay.
And my opinion is, everybody's talking about this is like the Sean McVay effect. I think this is probably the Kyle Shanahan effect, because Kyle Shanahan was a head coach before him, and he was the offensive coordinator right there, as you can see. And I remember those were the RG3 Kirk Cousins years when they were battling back and forth. That was a pretty fun time back in the DMV area. All right, so Rudy Reyes, right now, real quick, let them know where they can find you at.
Yeah, and go to @RudeDogReyes on Twitter. Go to therudedogshow.com, and you can find these episodes and more on the RudeDogShow.com. Just go to Go Long Live page with myself and Barry Long.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You can find me on Twitter at Radio Barry Long. I'm on IG at BarryLong_2, on Facebook at BarryLong_II. Remember, stay focused, stay motivated, stay inspired, and remember, you're capable of doing anything, so go out and do it. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday.